Femi the Agent,
Femi the Realtor.
on another episode of Sneakers and Real Estate, two of my favorite things that I love to talk about. We're not going to spend too much time on sneakers today because we have an esteemed guest here that has me laughing, but we're going to get into that in a second. Today we're talking about the Jordan 1 lows, the Lunar New Year's. So these dropped probably about a month ago. Brand Jordan, every year for Chinese New Year, they always do a dope collaboration. They always drop maybe like a pair of sneakers, or sometimes they'll drop 2 or 3 pairs. But this pair I really like. The soft or the light gray that they have on it, the snakeskin swoosh, and the clear bottom. This actually looks like it glows in the dark. So this to me I think is a really dope shoe, and then you have the iridescent colors on the back. So when you see this shoe on camera, it doesn't really do it justice. So you guys probably definitely need to grab yourselves a pair of these. You need this in your arsenal. And I think this is a sneaker that definitely needs to touch foreign soil, maybe like a London or St. Bart's or, St. Martin, one of these different places. But dope shoe. I definitely think you should try to grab yourself a pair. You should be able to find it online. So, springtime is coming, so definitely a great shoe I think you should definitely pick up. We're going to talk about some what's going on with the mortgage, and my son will give you some information as far as what the rates are.
So regarding the rates at the moment, for 30-year fixed, they're around 6.5%. For 15-year, around 6%. So like you said, spring is coming up, summer coming up as well. So if you are looking to make a move or transition, you want to start planning ahead before everybody, gets out of school, kids get out of school and things get a little more hectic. If you're planning to move in the summer, you want to start planning, start taking a look at places now, so you could plan to, be settled by the time, kids finish, by the time you retire, whatever, you're going through at the moment. So definitely want to plan out, or even if you want to look around, take a look at some different options, take more advantage of, what you're currently paying for, excuse me, currently already monthly mortgage-wise, or, if you're renting currently, if you want to get more for your money and take some ownership in some stuff this year around, you definitely want to sit down with one of us or sit down with somebody to take full advantage of where your money is being spent. So.
Yeah, now is a great time, kind of get the process started. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out to one of us. But without further ado, we have an esteemed guest. She's actually, and I'm going to go on camera say this, she's going to be one of my friends. We already locked in, and we've only, she's a mother. She's a vegan influencer. She has a talk show that they call a Black Vegan Cooking Show. She's catered for the likes of Donna Rollins, Dave Chappelle, Apple. She was on the Today Show. She was actually on the Today Show earlier before even sitting down with us. She's been on QVC. She does a host of different things. And yeah, Today Show today. So
hustle.
I want to introduce Chef Charlise to the pod, and we want to thank you for carving out some time out of your schedule to make some time just to sit down and kind of chop it up with us.
I appreciate it. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you.
This is so sweet, like father and son.
Thanch you, I appreciate it.
Like sneakers and a mortgage.
Yes.
This is beautiful. We need to do this more.
We definitely need to do this more.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
I wish I wore sneakers though, but hey, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole nother,
But hey, I got this on.
She has the hoodie on. You see the three of us, we're definitely trending today. We're not even
soft,
twinning.
It's luxurious. I
Thank
suggest you get one.
If you need one, definitely DM one of us. We definitely have some in stock for you. So we're gonna jump all over the place today, Charlise, if that's okay.
I have no clue what we're getting into because
Okay.
I didn't want to know. So I'm an open book.
Well, I know the other day I saw you were working out. I think you ran 6 miles or something. 7 miles. Sorry, I don't want to shortchange her. Let's make sure we get all the miles in. I think she had done some other exercises, and then I think maybe some cardio, and then started running 7 miles.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Okay, right. Okay. So what would be what's a sneaker of choice for you? Just out of curiosity.
A sneaker of choice.
To maybe work out, or a lounging sneaker, just to chill out?
I'm a Nike fan.
Okay.
Am I allowed to say that?
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, I like Nike.
Okay.
Yay.
Nikes are cool. We like Nikes. I got Nikes on too. I got Jordans on. My son has Nikes on, so.
Yeah.
Nike, can you, yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. Exactly. So, wanted to get an idea your family background. So, from what I looked up, because I dug. Yeah, thank you for the press kit, though.
No problem.
You were born in London.
Yes, born and bred in East London.
Okay, East London. And then you have family in Mauritius?
Yes, so my mum's from Mauritius, which is in Africa.
Right, nice.
Next to Madagascar, and my dad is from Jamaica.
Okay.
But both my parents migrated in the 60s
60s, okay.
to London.
Oh, wow, okay.
And found each other.
They found each other,
Yeah,
okay.
actually, all my family did.
Okay.
So there's hundreds of them in East London.
Okay. All the Rookwoods are just running around East London.
Rookwoods are causing all sorts of havoc.
All sorts of havoc. Okay. Okay. Because Charlise this is my homegirl now. London with the Brooklyn grit. Don't try to use that. That's our thing.
Yeah.
So you also said that you have family that lives in Brooklyn and the Bronx, correct?
Yes, I've been coming here since I was a little kid.
Okay.
Because I had my aunts and cousins all in Brooklyn, some in Bronx. So I used to come here for my summers.
Nice.
And so New York has always felt like a home away from home for me.
Okay.
And then I lived here in my 20s.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I lived here in my 20s when I was signed to Universal Publishing.
Nice.
And I was writing for Murder Inc.
Nice. Okay.
So I lived here then. It was a crazy time.
That was a crazy time.
I was in my 20s.
Okay.
And I've just been back and forth my whole life, but I've been back and forth mainly through music through my life.
Right.
But then I made the big move here this time round with a family 9 years ago.
9 years. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So I guess because you were kind of going back and forth, it just made sense for you to kind of settle your roots
Made
here.
sense. If I'm honest, I've always loved it here.
Nice.
I've always loved it here. I wouldn't move back to England if you paid me.
You wouldn't?
No.
Wow. Okay.
I know when you're from somewhere,
It's a different kind
it's
of.
different. It's different. It
Right.
feels different.
Right.
I don't know. I just think the way that New York has embraced me and the opportunities that have kind of presented themselves have been very different. I know that I couldn't have created what I've created here
Anywhere else?
in the UK.
Got it.
I couldn't have. Anywhere else, actually. Yeah.
Okay. I would actually think that they would, well, I mean, I don't know how it was back then compared to how it is now as far as the opportunities. You would feel like
I mean, now they want to embrace me with open arms.
it's kind of too late, guys. You lost her. So
Because-
now she's a Brooklynite.
Because I'm here,
Right.
so that's cool now. Because, they're obsessed with New York
They're
and
obsessed.
Brooklyn.
Right.
So
We
I
claim her
had
now.
to go away. I had to go away and do these things in order to
That's what
be
happens
welcomed
sometimes.
back with open arms.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But there's loads of us here that have done that.
Yeah, that's true.
Loads of us.
But I think it's really dope because, even when you're working a job sometimes,
Yeah.
you'll stay there for a year or two and you're looking to get a promotion or you're looking to make more money at the job, and sometimes you actually have to leave to go somewhere else to get that money or to get those opportunities.
Absolutely.
When you would rather stay right there where you are, but they don't want to give you those same opportunities, right? Which is weird.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like you just can't wait for it to happen.
You have to actually
Sometimes
go out
you've
there
gotta
and kind of
make
find it.
a drastic move, and I'm not afraid. It's not my character.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm
Well, you kind of
coming.
move around anyway. You're like a gypsy. Okay, I think that's why we.
gypsy?
Yeah. Well, not in a bad way, Charlise, but a little bit of a gypsy because I moved around when I was younger.
move around. Yeah, I move
Okay.
around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, which is cool.
But I feel pretty settled now.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Nice.
feel like I'm good for a minute.
Good. We appreciate that, and we welcome you with open arms. And I think, like you said, with the opportunities that have all presented themselves to you,
Yeah.
a lot of that, like I talk to my kids about, has a lot to do with the energy that you put out, which is what's come back to you. If you want to talk about that.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer of leading with love,
Nice.
first and foremost.
Nice.
We all want to make tons of money. That's clear. Who doesn't like money?
Right.
But it's the intention that's behind it, So you have to move in your purpose,
Right.
with good intentions. And I've always done that. I've turned down so many things that have just been money related.
Well, people don't
Because
understand that it has to
didn't-
be.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right, and I could have maybe excelled a lot quicker, but there's always going to be a backfire. at some point.
Right.
So I'm like, let's just grind and make it a little slower and just, move with intention, and everything else will eventually fall into place, which it is.
Which it is.
Yeah,
Which is a beautiful
which
thing.
it is. Patience.
Nice. Patience is a virtue, folks.
Yeah.
Every overnight success is at least 10 years in the making. Every single one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You got a question, Flo?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I had a couple things actually
Okay,
pulled
Kenny.
up. Yes. So with your diet now, that the things you eat, how difficult is it for you to go out places, with other people with different diets? Are you open to going out and exploring, or you're more so like, I'll eat at home before I go, or you don't really, looking to venture out?
Okay, so I find fault in everything I eat when I'm out.
Okay.
So this is my personality.
Well, that's tough for you because you're a chef.
I'm never happy because I'm a chef. I'm never satisfied, and I like home cooking.
Okay.
That's my thing. So I grew up from a very young age in the kitchen, but I do eat in most of the time, and it's not because I don't think the vegan options aren't great. I mean, Brooklyn alone is like the vegan mecca. Vegan, like you will go broke eating out.
Eating out,
like,
right?
because you can eat in a different place every single night, and then the next day this new place is just opened. But I don't eat out a lot because one, my daughter now has the fussy gene that I have, where she finds a fault in everything.
I wonder where she gets that from.
I wonder where she gets that from. And so yes, I do tend to eat at home, but if there's something happening or it's a birthday or friends want me to go out, I'll go out. And I'm not a person that can't sit at a table because one of my friends is eating a steak.
Is eating, okay.
I'm not that girl. I'm not judgmental. I'm like, I believe in meeting people exactly where they are.
I was going to say, I know that's one of your favorite quotes, right?
Yeah, meeting people where they are. Like, I'm not one of the crazy vegans. There's some crazy ones out there.
I know you said a lot of them. I heard you talking to somebody. You said a lot of them
like,
try to come for you.
If I'm honest, I get criticized and scrutinized more by vegans than non-vegans about my relaxed approach. But I think that it's important to be that way. Otherwise, we're going to keep on hitting stumbling blocks.
It makes it, I think, when you're with non-vegans, it makes it kind of a little bit awkward in a sense. You're trying to push your narrative, and everybody needs to
understand. I have this agenda, and you got to remember, my daughter is the only other vegan person in my family, and she was born vegan.
Right.
But no one else in my family is.
Oh wow.
So I have learned over the years how to approach Jamaicans and Africans. Like
I'm Nigerian, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've had to learn, and now when I go back to London, everybody wants me to cook.
Really? Listen, they see you on Today's Show and QVC and all these different places that you're at. We see the food, we can't smell it. So now, if you can grace us and kind of get in the kitchen and whip something up.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Because I mean, I'll say, I was at an event that you catered.
Yes, last weekend.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not a vegan, but I've been talking to a lot of the people about me kind of going on a, I guess if you want to say a journey when it comes to my weight. From last year, I was 218. And
no way.
No lie, Charlise.
That's crazy.
Going to the doctor and the doctor telling me that I was
borderline
obese. So I'm saying to the guy, like, what are you talking about? I'm in the best shape of my life. Even though between you and me, I'm lying to myself. So I've been kind of, working on it and being mindful of what I'm eating now.
That's incredible.
And I weighed myself the other day. I think I'm down to 190. Oh, I was actually at the doctor yesterday, 197.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's the thing, right? It's everyone has to kind of, embark on their own personal journey.
Right.
There's not one way that's right for everybody.
Right.
And you just take small steps in the right direction of health, whatever that looks like to you.
Right.
I think is the most important thing.
I think, for you and I especially, well, everybody out there, but like I said, for you and I, because we're basically around the same age. I turned 50 last April. I'll be 51 in April, as you know.
Join me.
And you'll be 51 in November.
No, I'm going to be 52 in November.
Okay. But we're still right there. I'm sorry. I probably should have known. I should have even talked about the age, but you can't tell, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Respect your elders.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm playing.
how was it for you since you were going back and forth between Brooklyn and London?
Yeah.
How was it during the holidays for you, as far as like you said, having a family and nobody being vegan? How was that for you, and what did that look like?
Okay, so I think, so I always tend to go back to London at Christmas because my daughter wants to be with the cousins and my mom and
Right.
the nieces and everyone.
Right.
So that's a big eating situation.
That's a situation.
Yeah.
Right.
But my mum, you know, my father is no longer here. So when I do go back to London, I do stay at my mum's.
Okay.
So Mauritius is in Africa in the Indian Ocean. So vegetables and lentils and plants are naturally a big part of their diet, whether
Right.
you're vegan or not.
Right.
So we eat a lot of pulses and we eat a lot of okra.
Okay.
So it naturally is vegetarian friendly. So
to speak, right?
yeah, so when I grew up eating, my grandma was a vegetarian on my Mauritian side.
Okay.
And I would spend my weekends with her because I had to go to church and Sunday school.
Right.
So I grew up having like vegetarian weekends.
Okay.
But it's not difficult because vegetables in my mum's side of the family, they've always played a huge role in the plate.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, unlike, no, actually, and very similar on my Jamaican side.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my dad has one brother, he's a Rasta, so he's Ital.
Vital.
And I was pretty much a pescatarian growing up when I was little.
Well, you're a 7-day Adventist, right?
Exactly, seven-day Adventists, they are vegetarians. So I
did some digging, folks.
yeah, 7-day Adventists. But a lot of people don't know that they are vegetarians.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was little, I didn't like milk, I didn't like chicken, and I didn't like eggs. There wasn't a reason behind it. It wasn't because I didn't want to kill the chickens or save the animals.
You just wanted nothing to do with it.
It made me feel sick. It was just a feeling. I used to drink milk and I used to feel like I wanted to be sick. You know, when you're at school, they give you a carton of milk.
Right.
And my mum had to write a note and say, don't give her the milk
Don't give her the
anymore.
milk.
She just doesn't like it. So I was really grateful that my parents were quite relaxed like that, where
Nice.
most parents would be like, you gotta drink it
They will
for your
force it on you.
bones and calcium and you won't grow. And eggs, I was like, chicken, when I used to see like the bone with the veins, I used to freak out as a kid.
Wow.
So I grew up eating predominantly fish.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I do go home, it's easy.
Okay.
It's easy, and everyone loves to cook in the house. But like I said, I end up cooking.
Okay.
I end up cooking.
So what about how is Thanksgiving for you?
Here,
Yes.
I don't do Thanksgiving.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
The reason is, I haven't got one single family member here now. My last family member just moved to North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
everyone else moved to Atlanta, and the others moved back to Jamaica. So I have not one family member here now.
Wow.
So Thanksgiving is kind of like,
So that explains why you've never had candy yams?
no. How did you know that?
I did some digging.
I'm like, yams can't be sweet. Stop it, people. Stop it. We can't put sugar in everything.
Okay.
Let's not.
Okay.
But respect for the candied yams.
Respect for the candy yams.
Respect for the candied yams. It's cultural, right?
It's
so
cultural.
I'm not dissing
But
it.
that's not what you were brought up
Jamaicans,
on. So it didn't make
Mauritians,
sense.
no,
Yeah, okay.
there's no sugar in yams.
Okay. Okay. It was a okay.
No, if you're having ackee and saltfish and yam, there's no sugar in it.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean I'm not going to like it.
Okay, I guess that.
But I naturally don't have a sweet tooth.
Oh, you don't?
No, so I don't like pumpkin pie. Like I naturally don't like sweets.
Wow.
So I don't know how I'd feel about it, but I'm up for trying it.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Alicia.
put
Okay.
me up next time.
Okay. We got you covered now. We got you covered. What was I going to ask you? I know you were talking about your dad for a second there, Mr. Rookwood. Rest in peace to him.
Yes, sir.
With you growing up vegetarian, I guess in a sense, I think the one thing that kind of took you, well, I guess two things that took you, if you want to say over the edge, to go full-fledged
Yeah.
would be you getting sick from eating fish?
That came later.
Okay.
Oh my God, he's been digging.
I did some digging.
Your dad is like a spy. So initially, so I was predominantly a pescatarian
Right.
most of my life. love me some seafood, which is why I'm always trying to find a way to make some kind of substitute, vegan substitute.
Right.
My dad was diagnosed with stomach cancer 13 years ago. And when that happened, it was so swift. It was like 1 minute he was okay, and the next day he was stage 4.
Wow.
And it was countdown, and I lost him in 12 weeks.
Wow.
So it was like rapid, and I'm the only child for my dad.
Wow.
So it went from like having this 6'1" strong Jamaican man, like my king, my protector,
right.
like you're always gonna be here,
Right.
to like, oh shit.
This is really...
Where it's countdown. So when he got diagnosed, he was misdiagnosed, but
He was.
that's another show. So we didn't even have time to even do any natural kind of intervention. You know,
Right.
all his family flowed from Jamaica, and they were like, they got this special plant, but he was so far gone at that point.
Yeah.
We were just like, we're just too late. So
Damn.
he went into a hospice, but whilst he was kind of transitioning towards the end, I started looking into the causes of cancer, you know, what we eat, environment.
Right.
And that's when I really started delving into food and repercussions.
Right.
And even though I knew we were gonna lose him, we were still like, whilst he's still here, let's still try and implement like
Certain things, healthy, right?
Yeah. So that opened up like a can of worms. And then when my dad passed, I was like, right. And his sister was actually diagnosed right after my dad. And then
Well, it was like three family members right behind him, right?
three siblings back to back. So I was like, okay, the doctors were saying there's Lynch syndrome in your family, which is hereditary cancer. I'm not entirely sure how much of that is true, but I was like, okay, there is a lot of cancer in my family.
Right.
And another brother and a sister in Canada, so that's 5, and we lost all.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, prevention is the key.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I can't get sick, but I'm just gonna try and prevent some really obvious things.
As best as you can.
Because the doctors were like, you kind of are high risk because of the history in your family.
In your family, right?
Yeah, so I started getting like mammograms from a very young age and just certain things for prevention. So that's when I was like, okay, what do I take away from something so tragic? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be vegan. And I literally just did cold turkey from one day
You did?
to the next.
Wow.
But then in saying that, I wasn't drinking milk, I wasn't eating chicken or red meat.
You had already kind of transitioned. You were almost halfway there already.
Actually, from a child, I was actually transitioning without
Right.
even realizing.
Right.
So it was only really cheese and fish
That you had to cut out.
that I had to let go. But it was a no-brainer for me because I'm like, this is about survival now.
Right.
Because now I'm scared.
Right.
I'm like, this is too many people.
Right.
So when my dad passed, I went cold turkey from one day to the next. I was 39, and I knew, and I just got married after my dad passed. And I was like, clock's ticking. I want to have a baby. I want to have a vegan pregnancy. I want to have a vegan kid. And that was the turning point.
Nice.
And that was 12 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you were performing when you found out you were pregnant, right? I did
How
some
does he
digging.
know that?
I did some digging, folks.
You the spy. I was touring with Incognito.
Nice.
So Incognito are like one of the biggest jazz funk bands out of the UK. And the band leader and the writer for the whole band happens to be my mum's younger brother, Bluey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and he wrote for Jill Scott,
Nice.
George Benson. So I grew up in a studio around all those people.
You were in the mix for almost, 30 years, right? In the music industry?
Yeah, I practically left school when I was 17 and
Wow.
hit the road and was touring and bands and writing. And I only kind of switched my career when I found out I was pregnant in Atlanta when I was singing on stage and I didn't feel good. I felt weird. And then when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, okay, bye music industry.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Well, you had already been in it almost 30 years. So I think at that
My
point
whole-
you were
my whole
looking
life.
your whole life, right?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's next for me, but I know motherhood is next for me, and that's massive.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah. Yeah, when you started touring, I think you said, what, 17, right?
Yeah, 17.
Yeah, I left home when I was 17, so I kind of,
Yeah, I didn't go to college. I didn't further my education. I do not recommend that my child does that. But that was just, that was just my journey. My parents were very free.
which is good.
Like, all my friends wanted to come to our house because my parents were just like, express yourself, live your best life.
Which is good, because in the Nigerian household, definitely, that's not how I was raised. I mean, study. You're gonna be a doctor,
a lawyer,
engineer.
engineer.
That's it. If you're not doing either one of these three things, you gotta get out, right?
Which is also great.
It's good.
It is.
But you need, I think,
balance.
You need a little bit of balance.
Yeah.
So I think if you're in a two-parent household, you don't need both the parents to be so stern or to be so strict.
Yeah.
I think you need a little bit of balance, especially nowadays.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is true.
What it is, but sometimes I'm like, I wished maybe my parents had kind of just been a little more, go to college, finish, graduate. I don't know what difference it would have made now, but I always kind of have that feeling of,
What if, right?
like, what if? I don't have any regrets. Like, I'm happy,
Right.
but I have definitely, what's the word? Reinvented myself
Nice.
at a later age.
Right. But you know what it is too, Charlise? I think your parents, because of how they grew up, they can only instill in you what they knew and how they grew up. Because even for my dad didn't start reading until he was 16.
Wow.
Didn't start going to school till he was 15, 16. Because his parents didn't want him to go to school. So they could only do what they knew.
So mad that you say that, because my dad couldn't read or write. But my dad was a really famous fashion designer in London.
Really?
Like, he worked with Vivienne Westwood. Wow. And my dad couldn't read or write. Wow. Like, my dad was like one of 7 that got left behind in Jamaica. He was the youngest. And when the family brought everyone back to London, his parents left him behind. Which is kind of typical back then. And he never went to school.
Wow.
And then when they sent for him years later, he came to London and he was just very unhappy in the household for just some crazy reasons. And he ended up going into care. And then he kind of went to school for the first time really late. Wow. But still ended up being a success. But in the 70s, he was a club owner.
Club 7?
Club 7. First Jamaican club owner in London.
That's so dope.
In the 70s.
That's so dope.
Marvin Gaye went to my dad's club.
Nice.
Curtis Mayfield, I mean, I must have been like 1.
Right.
And he had like, he had girls with bikinis with snakes around their neck walking around the club. These are the stories I've heard, But
you weren't there to witness, so
I know, I was 1 year old. But then some white boys found out his club was very successful and they burnt it down in the middle of the night. And I still have like 10 vinyls that he managed to save in the fire.
Amen.
And I still have those 10 vinyls.
Amen.
So my mom was a model, so my parents were just very expressive.
Very expressive, very free.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you said, when you talk about the story of your dad, if I recall or remember correctly, he used to always run away when he was younger all the time, right?
Always. When he came
and then
from
look
Jamaica,
at what he turned into.
Look what he did. When he came from Jamaica to London, when he was staying with his parents, my grandma, his mum, she was hard. And he was being beaten really, really badly, like to a point of where sometimes he felt like he wasn't going to make it. And he was like 8, 9. And he kept on running away in East London. And I think it was the 5th time he ran away, and he was 9.
9?
He was 9. And the cops were like, they found him. Someone said to him, we've seen this little black boy, and he's living in the movie theater. He waits till they lock up, he goes in, and because there's popcorn, things drop on the floor.
Right.
So he was basically eating the stuff off the floor and sleeping underneath the chairs. Wow. And they said, we've seen him, he goes in there every night through the back door. So the police went and they found him in there sleeping, and he was 9, and he'd been missing for 2 weeks at that point. Wow. And they said, right, we're not taking you home. We can't keep doing this. We're gonna let you choose what you wanna do, Wiley. Do you want to go back home, or do you want to go into care? If you go into care, there's a family in the countryside that will have you. He said, send me. And that
At
was
9 years old.
And that was the beginning of his life turning around.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
That's a pretty incredible story. Shout out and rest in peace to Wiley Rookwood. So I mean, being a vegan now, I guess for so many years.
I fell off once.
You fell off?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to let people know that because.
Well, they think that it's.
No, it's not easy.
None of it is easy.
It's not easy.
Right.
I make it look flawless, but I remember after I had my daughter, a couple of years on, I started getting that seafood itch.
Okay.
And I started eating, I went crazy. I went crab, lobster, shrimp.
This is what happens.
I went bonkers. And then I got poisoned twice from seafood. And I said, okay, I'm done.
Oh, with the fish, right?
Yeah. I said, I'm done. So I'm human.
We all human. We make mistakes.
And it's okay, you know. I found my way back on again. And here we are.
And you haven't looked back ever since?
No.
Okay.
It's a lifestyle now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's my life.
Nice. When you do the catering, do you only cater vegan, or depending on who your clientele is, if they're looking for not just vegan stuff and they want a little bit of everything, do you do that as well?
I'll give them someone else's number.
Okay. That's why I had to ask. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I'll give it. I've had many requests, and I'm like, no. But I know someone that will. I know a great chef who I can send your way. You know, I can do part of it.
I just can't do the other part.
Pre-COVID, I used to do a lot of like craft services and events. But since when COVID happened and everything shut down, you know, I never really got back into it. Everything just kind of took a different direction with the Black Vegan Cooking Show, and things just kind of went a different way. So the other day when I met you, it had been a while since I'd done anything that big.
Really?
Yeah, but I was like, it's community, so yes. If there's anything I'm gonna do moving forward now, it's community events.
Which is really dope. I think, you know, like you said, when people see you doing some of the things that you're doing, today's show, QVC, your own show, they'll think that, I guess, them approaching you to, you know, want to do, you know, something for the community, they may think that it's kind of like out of reach. And I think me just seeing you do that was the reason that I reached out to you.
Bless you. I'm really glad that you did.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
because for
I
me,
think it's that perception, right? It's people, you know, social media is not real people. It's not the real one.
more than half of it is fake, folks. Listen to Chef Charlise.
Like, it's not real. You know, we put what needs to go out there for a purpose,
Right.
but it's not every part of my life. It's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because I want to heal our people. That is the bigger picture. It comes with loads of other opportunities, but the mission is to heal us and kids, more importantly.
Yeah.
Raising awareness, education. Even when we were at the event the other day, and all the kids said they'd never eaten a mushroom before, and they were teenagers. I was like, okay.
But
Mission accomplished.
I'll be 51 in a few months.
You
I
said
don't
yes.
like mushrooms.
You told me that.
Until I saw the mushroom and how you put it together and what it tasted like and what it smelled like,
Yeah.
it made me a believer.
Oh, I love it.
Because just having that, I think with all the different options that they have now, with even the chickpeas that you made, the curry chickpeas, which I had, the vegan mac and cheese, you know, having some of those different foods. You know, I tried different things in the past, but having it, and I think the spin that you put on it, it makes it so you don't feel like you're missing out on anything when it comes to everything that's on the other side.
That's the mission, right? I think people are kind of, they have this misconception that vegans eat bowls of celery.
Celery and lettuce.
I don't want to eat
celery
a bowl
and
of
lettuce.
celery. I'm half Jamaican, half African. I don't want to eat a bowl of celery. I want the flavors. I want the comfort. I want to undo my top button. I want to pass out on the couch.
Pass out, right.
I want to keep all those feels.
Yes.
So I think it's really important. For me, it's just recreating all the comfort foods that I grew up with. That's my mission.
Okay.
Is to just present you with a comforting, delicious plate of food. It just happens to be vegan. I try not to lead with the vegan.
Right.
Because then people get like, oh.
Well, it's the stigma, like you said.
It's
so
the
it's like,
stigma.
let's forget about the stigma.
Yeah.
Just come over here.
Just eat.
Eat. Try it out
Right?
and see
then
what you.
let's talk about it after.
Right. Nice. You had a question?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. What do you feel like is the most common misconception people give vegans?
It is definitely that. It's what we're eating. And then it's like, well, you're not getting your calcium and you're not getting your protein.
The protein, right?
Oh, I am so sick of the word protein. If one more person asks me about protein, I swear I'm gonna drop kick them because I'm done. Like
You see the boots she got on, folks? She'll drop kick somebody today. So don't mess with Chef Charlise.
Right? I'm like, if you really look into like the nutrients and minerals and vitamins that are in vegetables,
Right.
there are ways, you know. And I think a lot of vegans they don't necessarily have all the right food groups in their diet. Right, so they can, if you make that transition, you kind of make it cold turkey and
Right.
you move too quick,
Right.
it's more than likely you're going to be lacking in some stuff, some iron, you're going to be lightheaded, all those things are going to happen, and then you're going to rely on a whole bunch of vitamins and supplements. If I'm totally honest, I don't take any vitamins or supplements.
Oh, wow.
I only take like D in the winter because of the sun.
Wow.
But
Okay.
I don't take
None.
anything, no, because I get it. I am really intentional of getting it in my food.
In your foods, right?
And every year when I get my health tests and everything done, like everything is tip top. But it takes years to kind of fall into that
Right.
that system of just like it being just it's second nature for me now.
I think for you.
And I'm the same with my daughter.
Yeah, but I think for you, I don't know if I'll say, we say here, you kind of had the cheat code because of how you grew up.
I did. I was already a step ahead, right? I was already a step ahead, and that's the thing. It's trying to get to children now,
Right.
like nice and early, especially in the United States.
Right.
Like, it's crazy what they're feeding kids in these schools. Like, I want to get in schools. That's the mission.
I think the way you keep pushing it, definitely, it's
That's
going to
the
happen.
mission.
It's going to happen, Chef.
I think it's only a matter of time where hopefully, you know, we'll be able to kind of integrate some of those things in
Nice.
the education system. That would be incredible.
Nice.
Yeah, even if it's just, not even just necessarily eating, but planting and more gardens and just, it was crazy because before pandemic, I was doing a cooking class for first and second graders in my daughter's school.
First and second graders.
Yeah, and we would go on like little trips and do planting, and most of the kids hadn't seen half of those vegetables outside of a can.
Wow.
And when they were digging up carrots and looking at the roots, they were like fascinated. They wanted to peel it. They wanted to wash it. They wanted to take a bite of it. And they were like, it tastes so much better this way. So we just got to go right back down to the basics, the fundamentals.
Nice. But
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, I don't know if this is old or still going on now.
Yeah.
The school that your daughter was going to, plant-based, they have a plant-based diet, correct?
Yeah, so when I first moved here, I moved to Jersey City because of the school. I had no business being in Jersey City because my
But you were doing everything here. You were in
everything
Brooklyn.
was here. So I was sleeping there and coming to Brooklyn every single day.
Wow.
But I was so worried about the eating situation. I found this one school. It's a Scandinavian school with a vegan chef on site. And
Wow.
they grow, pick, and cook daily together. So I moved to Jersey City so she could go to that school. And she was there for 5-6 years.
Nice.
And then she outgrew it
Nice.
because it only went up to K. But it's really sad because,
Only one school in the whole,
and it should just be the norm.
the norm, right?
And it shouldn't be private. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just should be the norm. We've got a long way to go. We've got a long way to go, but I just think we have to keep pushing.
I think we're making strides. It just,
I
like you said,
think
it takes a while for the rest of the world to
It
catch on,
does.
unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're
Okay.
getting there.
Talk about your book that's coming out, Vegan Soulicious.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that.
My cookbook.
Let's talk about the
It's in my
cookbook.
bag. My cookbook. Okay, so it's out on May 6th. May 6th. Pre-orders
Pre-order.
are available now. Links in my bio. Instagram, Vegan Soulicious.
Send it to us. We're gonna push it. We're gonna blast it. We're gonna send it to everybody.
It's crazy. You know what? I had no intentions
Of doing a
of
book.
doing a cookbook simply because I hate cookbooks.
Ah, okay.
They're the most boring things on the planet. The thought of opening a book and measuring is the worst imagination you could do to me. I don't measure anything. No,
Wow.
we just season until the ancestors say stop. That's what we do, right?
Well, you know to put a pinch of this and a pinch of that, and then it
You
just comes
taste
together,
and
right?
go, and then
Okay.
you can't tell anyone how to make it. But I found myself in this situation of It was the Today Show, really. So I'll go back a little bit. So my daughter went to Alvin Ailey for 6 years.
Nice.
And I was saying to you earlier, when
My daughter used to dance too when she was younger.
See? So
Yeah.
when she was at Alvin Ailey, when the kids used to go and dance, all the parents would go and get some mojitos and sit somewhere for 2 hours. And we ended up just having this amazing group of African American women, and we
Nice.
bonded.
Nice.
And we never spoke about work. We never really spoke about what we did. We just ended up just speaking about us and relationships and children.
Which is what happens sometimes.
Which is what happened. And we all became best friends for those 6 years. And then COVID came, everything shut down. But just before kind of COVID came, we all started sharing a little bit about our work and things we did. And they were following me on Instagram and I was following them. And then one of the mums was like, I've been watching you for 6 years and I've been watching you grow, like organically. And she's like, I know you know who I am.
You had no idea, right?
I don't watch daytime TV. So I did not know that Chanel was the main host and anchor on the Today Show, because I don't watch I don't watch TV.
And there you were for 6 years, just...
And one of the other mums, Tanya, like, she was like the head of video at BET.
Wow.
But we just never really, we knew what we did, but it was never about opportunity. So once we started talking, Chanel was like, we need to get you on the Today Show. I've watched you, you're ready now.
Nice.
We're ready. I've seen the Black Vegan Cooking Show and da-da-da-da-da.
Nice.
So she was like, look, I can't make any promises, sis, but I'm gonna pitch you, but the rest isn't down to me.
Okay.
And I said, that's fine.
That's fine, yeah.
So she did. And I was in LA one day and I opened my email and I saw in the subject, NBC Today Show, and I was like, oh, shit. Am I allowed to say shit?
You're allowed to say shit.
We would love to have you on the show as a guest, cook something, like maybe from the Black Vegan Cooking Show. And we had just done the Remy Ma and Papoose episodes. It was like Christmas time.
Nice.
And I was freaking out. Because then I started watching, I was like, oh my God, this show is huge. Like, this is the show.
This is the show.
And I went on, Chanel had me on. Al was away at the time because he wasn't well then.
Okay.
So it was Chanel and Craig, and I went on, and that was the beginning of my relationship with the Today Show.
Nice.
And then they had me back on, and we just kind of built an amazing relationship from there.
Organically.
And then Tanya at MTV, BET, we started talking, and she was like, sis, like, what is it you want to do next? And I was like, I want a cooking show. And she was like, you know, I'm the head of video at BET. I said, I didn't know you were the head of video. I knew you was someone.
Right.
And she was like,
You're a mother like me.
she was like, let's pitch something.
Right.
Started talking, Black Vegan Cooking Show? Yeah, let's do it. So we pitched, and BET took it.
Nice.
COVID came.
Shut the whole
Lockdown.
world down.
That's it, no show, I lost my contract. Then I started pouring into Instagram as everyone else did, in between watching Versus
Right.
and having a good time.
Right.
And then my space grew and grew and grew. I started having more conversations with my community about
Nice.
food. And then as we started being allowed to go back
To go back up.
outside, Tanya was like, right, I've just moved, I've left BET. I'm now at I1, Urban One,
Oh, nice.
Digital. And she's like, I'm taking your project with me. And she took it, she kept her word, and then we signed the Black Vegan Cooking Show to I1, and that was the beginning of that.
Nice.
And then all those things kind of falling into place, just a friend of mine, I was at school, a mum, and she was like, you know I'm a food writer, right? So I didn't know that. And she's like, I've been watching you. I'm like, oh God. And she's like, I want to introduce you to a literacy agent. You should do a cookbook. I was like, nah, I don't like cookbooks.
I'm not going to do it.
It's not really my thing.
Right.
And she was like, I hear you, but it's not for you. People want your recipes, that's clear. So she introduced me to Bridget, who is now my best friend.
Nice. Shout out to Bridget.
And big up Bridget.
Big up to Bridget.
Changed my life. And Bridget was like, tell me your story. What's going on? And I told her everything. And she was like, we're getting you a book deal. We are? So I had this battle between Abrams and Penguin.
Nice.
And I chose to go with Abrams. I just felt the team just understood my mission and my
Felt more natural.
purpose. I just felt like they really wanted to invest in my story.
Nice.
More so than just stick out a cookbook.
Right.
So that's how the cookbook came about, and it was really hard to make. It wasn't an enjoyable experience. I'm going to be really, really honest.
Okay.
I was in the middle of a divorce.
You had a lot going on. Oh my
Living
gosh.
under one roof.
Really?
Yeah, in Jersey. I hadn't told my daughter. We were keeping it a secret from her.
Oof.
Trying to find 2 apartments in Bed-Stuy that weren't far from each other, so that both parents.
Co-parent, right?
Yeah, we live on the same street. It's beautiful.
Nice.
And it was a lot. And there were nights where I was like, I can't make this book. It's all just too much. It's too much. But my literacy agent was an amazing support. I had a great team of women around me, and they were like, you can do this. When things get really hard, that's when you.
It forces you to your best.
It forces you to go into like a whole different hustle. And that was when the book was born.
Nice.
So there's a lot behind this cookbook. It's a tribute to my dad first and foremost.
Nice.
But I was very intentional with how I made the book. I remember when Abrams messaged me, they sent me an email and they said, all right, we're ready to make this book now. So we're going to send you a bunch of amazing photographers that are responsible for all these Michelin star chefs. And I'm just this homegrown girl who cooks stuff at home. They were like, just, choose and take a look. And I was looking through this list and I was like, nah.
You weren't feeling it?
This ain't it. I was like, first and foremost, my team have to understand my food and my culture and my mission.
Right. Oh, it's not going to mesh.
It's not going to work. So we end up getting Clay Williams, who is Bed-Stuy, born and bred, African-American food photographer.
Nice.
Dope.
Shout out to Clay.
Clay is dope. I ended up getting the most amazing mother and daughter team of food prop stylists.
Nice.
I basically had 4 black women on set.
Nice.
And got all my ingredients from Le Bay.
Nice.
Grenadian grocery store.
Gets no better.
I was just intentional. I was like, I want everything in this book to express who I am, and I need it to represent us. So this whole book is like homegrown.
Nice.
Like every single part of it, down to the ingredients. I could have gone anywhere and got ingredients. No one's gonna eat it. It's a photograph.
It's a photograph.
But I'm like, if I'm gonna give my money,
it has to be authentic to you and what
put
you're
the
doing.
money back into the community.
Right.
So let's give it to Big Mac at Le Bay, and he can put it into his farms in Grenada.
Nice.
So
So for what I was reading, you said that it's not a cookbook. It's a story and a journey about your ancestors. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, thank you.
You're good.
Thank you.
It is that. It's a story. Every recipe has a story behind it, whether it be from grandparents or my auntie, or there's a story behind everything. And then there's like a scannable Spotify QR code with a playlist.
Oh, dope. Okay.
Yeah, because you've got music, you need to set the tone.
You definitely need
My
to set the
dad
tone.
was a set the tone type of guy,
Well, he was a club owner,
Yeah,
DJ,
he's like-
DJ and a dancer.
Yeah, he's like, build a spliff, put on a playlist,
Okay.
lay all the stuff out, now let's cook. And I have picked up all of those same traits, and I tried my hardest to translate them into a book, which is a mission, but I think I did the best I could.
You did a great job. I think the one thing that you said, I was listening to something, you said that you're more of a freestylist, so like you're not very structured. And I'm doing real estate now 23 years.
Oh my God.
And I'm a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So when I read and I heard you say that, I said, yeah, Charlise is she's my kind of people.
Yeah, I kind of just throw myself into things and kind of hope for the best. I'm not a great organizer. Like I still don't have an agent. I don't have a manager. I look after myself. I shoot all my own content. I'm like a one-woman show, but I'm also a bit of a control freak.
I am too.
And I always find that no one does it quick enough.
Quick enough. Or do it the way that you want them
Or
to do
do it the way I want it. So I'm just like, oh, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe. But I'm learning now that I have to delegate.
Delegate, keep an open mind.
Kind of let go of some things. I definitely have to, especially with my new venture coming up. I'm learning how to delegate.
You want to talk about your venture?
A restaurant.
Right here in Brooklyn.
Yay! Listen, oh my God, this was not a plan.
Isn't that usually how it
It's
happens?
never a plan, right? I kind of always felt maybe in a couple of years, but I was like, you know what? I've just got divorced, single mama hustle. I'm not in the best financial situation, and I'm renting, and there's so much happening, and I'm just trying to find my feet. I'm like 51, and I'm starting over again, and it's a lot, and I don't have family here.
Right.
And I was like, okay, as flawless as I make it look on Instagram, life is life-in.
It's life and for real, folks.
So many ways. But there's something about that hustle. There's something about that grind that just, I feel like I'm living my best life now.
But it was instilled in you. So
know,
I think you being a control freak and just handling some of the things that you do and wearing so many hats, balancing being a mom, a chef, opening up the restaurant, having the book. I think it was instilled in you from when you were, pretty much from when you were born.
I agree. Yeah.
That's where it all comes from.
Yeah, I had no choice.
We didn't have a choice, right?
No. It's like sink or swim, right? I choose to swim.
Nice.
But this restaurant, I thought, right, maybe in a couple of years I'll find, a little hole in the wall and I'll do a little takeout, order it and come and pick it up and I'll hand it through the hatch. Because that's all you can afford in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn, right?
It's so expensive.
Right.
So I was like, that's what I'm going to do in a couple of years. And so Christopher Williams, as in I'm dreaming.
Oh, okay. New Jack City?
That's my people.
Okay.
So Christopher was like, your food is fire. You need a restaurant. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not happening, not anytime soon. And he'd been telling me about two of his really close friends in Crown Heights that have this amazing space and they don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
And he was like, I've told them about you. Why would you do that?
Shout to Christopher Williams.
He's like, because I've had your food. And that pea soup you make, listen, if you just made the pea soup alone and nothing
The line would be
else,
around the block. I've had the pea soup too, folks.
bless you.
Fire, fire.
So I was like, I don't know, and I put it off for months. And he was like, sis, for real. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna meet them. It doesn't hurt. It
doesn't hurt to meet
but
somebody.
I'm not doing it. I'm
Right.
not doing anything. I'm just gonna meet them.
Right.
So I went to Crown Heights 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Okay.
And I met two of the most amazing African-American men I've ever met in my life. And they both have this energy and this spirit that my dad has. It's scary.
We talked about energy before.
Energy, right? One of them is like marketing genius, Kenyatta, and Don is like, his father is like a real estate guru.
Nice.
He passed away recently.
Oh, rest in
but
peace
he
to
was
him.
like the first Jamaican real estate millionaire
Nice.
back in the day in Brooklyn, and everybody knows him.
They
And
know
I
him.
sat with them, and I knew within 10 minutes, if nothing comes of it, I've just made some amazing friends.
Nice.
Just beautiful human beings. And we were sitting in this cafe, and they were like, so we have this cafe that we're sitting in. You could do a little something in here. You could do soup or something.
A little something in the corner.
Yeah, and I was like, maybe. And they were like, just take it slow, no pressure. They're like, but we'd like to show you something on the corner. And this was what Christopher was talking about. So I said, all right, you can show me.
It doesn't mean anything anyway.
So we went 2 doors down, and they pulled these shutters up. They were like, what about this then? And I walked inside, and I was like, yeah.
You got that feeling.
Yeah. I don't know how we're doing this, but yeah. And here we are. And we're in renovation stages right now. It's demolition. It used to be, it still has the yard food sign up on it.
Really?
It's an amazing location. It's 2 blocks from Brooklyn Museum.
I know exactly where it is.
You know exactly where it is.
Well,
on
I
that
saw the
corner,
video.
Franklin, you saw it.
Yeah, I know.
It's got this beautiful outdoor space. I'm like, this is a dream. I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is? And Christopher was like, I told you so. I'm like, yeah, you were right. Christopher was right.
Shout out to Christopher Williams.
So here we are. We are in the beginning of ripping everything out, doing concepts and branding.
Nice.
And I'm trying to get it open for May 6th for the cookbook launch, but I think I'm being a little bit adventurous.
Okay.
But
we still got time. We keep pushing for it.
If it is, we'll try. But if not, it's okay. You know, we're definitely going to be up and running by June.
Nice.
But I'm really, really excited. One, because it's a dream.
It's a great dream.
And it's in an amazing
location.
And I just feel like I can do so much with that space for the community. So yes, it's going to be a restaurant, but there's so much more that we can do in that space.
Nice.
Like I want to curate evenings where we have, all the Black female entrepreneurs can come in and showcase their products, and we can shine the light on what they're doing, and we can have live music. And I'm doing something underneath the restaurant. I don't know if you'll be old enough to come, but yeah.
I'm already there, so it doesn't
We're going to do this little speakeasy situation underneath the restaurant.
You are? Okay.
A little after hours lounge.
Okay.
Where people can just come chill.
Chill, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah,
He's 22, so.
Oh, you can come.
Okay.
You can come. It's a massive project, and I feel that little part of it is my dad also, just wanting a little kind of bar, club vibe.
Vibe, right?
So let's see what happens, It's like, you just got to try.
You definitely. I think if you never tried, then what you had said before, the what ifs, you always have that.
Exactly.
But at least if you try, you give it a shot, you see what happens. And I think for you, you're leading with the food, and you're leading with something that you do and you've been doing for so much time that it's second nature to you.
It is second
and
nature.
You've been surrounded by the right people. The fact that Christopher Williams had the soup, had the food, and connected you with these 2 individuals.
It's crazy. It is crazy, but I am here for all of the crazy. I don't do anything halfway.
This is not what we do.
I'm like, hey, we got a book. Hey, let's have a restaurant. What's next?
Nice.
So yeah, I'm excited to. It's putting the book into the restaurant now, because the whole point of it is I want people to eat my food.
Right.
You can't eat it through social media.
It's true.
And having these one-off little events.
It doesn't really, push.
It doesn't quite, we can talk about it and we can watch it for as long as we want, but there's nothing better than tasting it.
Yeah.
And being able to kind of curate a space. I want people to feel like they're stepping into my little world. So hopefully that transition, it works out.
Nice. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. We definitely know and hope and pray that it definitely will work out.
It will.
Do you have a name for the restaurant?
Vegan Solicious.
Vegan Solicious.
Yeah. Can't get rid of that.
Can't get rid of that. That's the name of the book too, folks. Please go online and pre-order. Go to her page and please pre-order the book. Question?
Yeah.
What would you say is the hardest thing about, I know you're doing the restaurant now, but TV, I know you're on the TV. What's the hardest thing you think about being on TV?
Do you know what? I really enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy being behind the camera. I think because I spent so long in the music industry and in entertainment, it's almost kind of set me up for this now. So I don't feel like a deer in the headlights. Now I'm like, it's a very comfortable space for me. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it is.
How do you balance everything?
I don't
Motherhood, chef, opening restaurant, shooting content. Okay.
On very little sleep. I mean, if I'm honest, there just aren't enough hours in my day, and I really, I am burnt out. I am. I'm constantly tired, but I'm like, I just got to put my, all my energy into all of these things now.
Well, you need it to work a certain way, which is why you're going so hard at it.
I'm going like.
And then you'll have to start delegating.
I think this is the hardest I've ever gone at anything in my life.
Good.
Like career-wise.
Yeah.
Like this is like the hardest because I'm like, shoot, I'm 51. I can't go this, I don't want to go this hard for much longer. I do want to put my feet up at some point.
At some point.
And, you know, I don't know, get a bit of land in Jamaica and just kind of grow some vegetables and fruits and just go chill out.
Just lay back on a hammock and chill, right?
I just want to live a nice, simple, holistic life in the sunshine. That's what I want.
Okay.
But I know this restaurant is not going to let me let up anytime soon, but I think it could be the beginning of something.
I think once you,
really
like
beautiful.
you said, the hardest part of it is
The setup.
the setup and getting it off the ground. I think once you do that, then you can start to delegate
Exactly.
certain duties and putting certain people in a place where you can start to transition to do what you need to do in Jamaica.
And me not doing it by myself now is like the saving grace. Me having an amazing team.
Good.
So I don't feel like I'm having to kind of take everything on. And I couldn't have done it by myself in any way, shape, or form.
But you know what the most important thing is, Charlise, I think, is you have some ideas and you've been pushing it and doing the best that you can do with it until the right individual saw it or had the food and then can kind of sit back and collaborate with you to say, we need to take this up a notch because
it's really interesting. It's like, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And I think a lot of people that might be on my Instagram and following me, they just see
Vegan Soulicious.
success. Oh, she did, but you're only seeing the highlights. Like there is so much there's so many ups and downs when you don't have a 9 to 5. The hustle is like so real. Like whether it's relying on brand deals or relying on some sponsorship for something, like I don't have that consistent flow of income. So I'm always on edge. There's never a moment to kind of just
take it all in.
No, so you kind of go, Black Vegan Cooking Show. And then when you finish filming the second season, you're on a high. But then I hit a real low because I'm like, it's done.
Right.
We did it. They're not getting funding to make any more now.
Wow.
And then you're like, cookbook, yay. I just made it. I just did it. And now the pre-orders are out. And then I'm like, damn, now what? You hit another low.
Right.
Restaurant opportunity. So this restaurant's going to keep me on a high, I think, for the longest time. Out of anything I've done, the restaurant is going to keep me going.
Nice.
You know, it's an up and down. It's a roller coaster.
I think that's just life in general. And I think anytime when you're trying to level up, it is part of it. But I think you have the mental toughness and the mental fortitude to get through it, and you will get through it.
I think so. And then, you know, when you have a 12-year-old daughter, you're like,
shout to Emmy.
You know, shout out to Emmy. I need her to see me, you know, at the best version of myself. And there are days where she sees me where I'm a hot mess, you know, but then I need to see her. She needs to see that Mommy will pick herself back up and make it happen.
All about a balance.
You know, exactly. I haven't got much balance at the moment. I'm still trying to.
You're working on it.
Still trying to figure it all out.
I think that's why we kind of mesh, because I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
too, so
still trying to figure it out, but you know, we're getting there.
Yes. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I'm going to be 56. Jesus. I would love to have, so this restaurant is the first of a franchise.
I was just about to say that.
That's what it is.
I'm not even lying to you.
Really?
I was just about to say that.
And I've not shared out with anybody. This whole project is a franchise. This is the first flagship.
Nice.
So in the next 5 years, I would love to have a Vegan Soulicious in Miami, Atlanta, London.
Nice.
Yeah, we're not entering this with a little one-off spot. That's not the future plan. I want this to have some longevity, and whether it be licensing it out or franchising it out, kind of work smarter, not harder.
Not harder.
And let this thing continue. I'm not trying to be Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen screaming at people.
Yeah, we don't want that.
You're not ever going to see me being that person.
Okay, thank God.
It's like, no. Right. You know, I have to be very present in the beginning to make sure things are executed
a certain way.
So I would love to see a huge success with that. And I guess by then my daughter's going to be 17, 18, and she'll be independent. And I don't know where she'll be in the world. But I'm hoping by then I am on a nice little piece of land.
So you can take over the reins.
Picking my okra, bare feet, cutting down my coconuts.
Nice.
On a hammock, just living a very simple life somewhere warm. That's what I see.
Sipping on a mocktail?
Sipping on a mocktail because I haven't drank in 6 years. Yeah. Yes.
I did some digging.
Yeah.
A little bit of digging, folks.
Yeah, I went a little crazy in COVID.
Oh, you did?
One day I heard the trash guys, and I quickly put all the bottles in a box and ran outside to give it to him. And when I put the box on the floor, and I saw all the bottles of wine, empty bottles in that box, I blame Versus.
Okay.
I was like, I drank all that.
Lox and Dipset, I think, did a lot to a lot of us.
Lots of Dipset. I was like, I drank all of that, and that's when I was like, but I knew because I was going through the divorce, it then became a vice every evening.
Got it.
I said, you know what? If I'm going to live this lifestyle, I'm going to have to
Head on.
all areas of it. So I was like, alcohol, no more.
Wow.
Like, I'm done. And I haven't been tempted. Haven't smoked in 13 years, and I was a big smoker.
Wow.
I was like, okay, if I'm gonna move forward with this holistic lifestyle and spread this message, like I feel like I'm a fraud. Like
If you're not
putting all this great food in me, but I'm drinking 2 bottles of wine in the evening, like this is not making any sense. So I just did a complete 360.
Wow. Nice.
You know, healing and cleansing comes in so many different forms,
Nice.
you know, spiritually, physically, mentally. So I'm trying to kind of just take care of all the areas.
You know, you're doing a great job.
We're trying.
Doing a great job. Have a question?
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you, I guess, any advice that you would give to someone if they're telling you that they're trying to live a healthier lifestyle, trying to lose weight? What advice would you give to them?
I think first and foremost, be kind to yourself.
Nice.
Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. There's so much information now available.
Yeah.
So much.
Oh my God. And I'm not saying you just trying to be vegan, but you're just trying to make healthier choices. Even with working out now, you can go online and get free workouts and just do them at home. Gym
Right.
memberships are extortionate.
That's true.
It's the
Thing of the past.
Yes, everything now doesn't always come down to money. I know a lot of it does come down to motivation.
Motivation.
And
It's
in
true.
order to kind of motivate yourself, in an ideal world, we'd all have a personal trainer, you know, but it's not affordable. So even if you can find a friend and you guys are just going for morning walks, you know, just walk.
It's a start.
It's a start.
It's a great start.
Just getting up and out the door and walking. It's a start. Just be gentle. Take small steps. There's so much information online, whether it be for eating, meditation, stretching. Every tiny little thing helps. Yeah, don't try and kind of be overnight. Try and become, you know, the yoga, vegan, holistic healer. It's like tiny
Baby steps. Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Nice.
And there's so much information out there, especially like in social media. People do I get back to you. If you ever want to ask me something in my DMs, I will get back to you. Like, absolutely.
Nice.
That's why I'm here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just don't DM her about any nonsense, folks, please.
Yeah, gets weird.
Her block game is very heavy, so don't.
He
don't
knows.
Even,
I've been
don't,
telling
don't
him.
Even, don't even think about it.
It gets, yeah, it's not Tinder.
Where can people reach you?
Instagram, Vegan Solicious. You know, I do have a TikTok, I'm never on it.
Okay.
I do have YouTube, I'm never on
Never on,
it.
okay.
I just can't manage it all.
It's
And
a lot.
I find that Instagram is just the easiest place for me to jump in and jump out.
Right.
Eventually, I will have to get someone to manage all the other spaces, especially when the restaurant comes about.
Right.
But I just, with a 12-year-old,
It's a lot.
it's a lot. It drives me mad. Part of me almost wishes social media would just disappear off the face of the planet, and then it will just force us to be with each other.
Each other, right? Yeah.
I'm like, until that point happens, I'll use the space.
Right.
But I do wish it would disappear. Like the other day when TikTok went down for like, was it a day? It didn't affect me.
Everybody thought
I was
the world was
celebrating. I saw people having breakdowns. They were crying online, and I was like, what?
People were calling the cops. They called 911.
What has happened to society? And that just shows you how scary it is and how much we rely
Yeah.
on these spaces and how
true.
important it is for us. I mean, look, just imagine if that event didn't happen last weekend, where we were forced to be in person and we were forced to feed the community
Right.
and we were forced to speak. That wouldn't have happened. And how beautiful, look, here we are. This is not going to happen any other way if we don't
It's
go
true.
outside.
It's true.
Yeah, and
true.
it's sad because the new generation don't know any other way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're lucky, you've great upbringing, but
Thank you.
the majority, they don't know any other way. They don't know what it is to meet up in person and have a conversation.
It's true.
So we have to force it.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on my 12-year-old with her phone. Like, get off
Yeah.
your phone.
We got to stay on them.
Create as many play dates as I can. Get the kids to come over to the house.
Yes. Interact.
Interact. It's key. So yeah, we need more events.
I agree.
I think once the weather gets better, I think I'm going to be very intentional this year because I am unsociable. I'm not really. I'm a homebody.
Right.
Like, if I'm not working, I'm at home. But I think I have to also break that because there's.
Well, you're working on it in bits and pieces.
I'm working on it. I'm throwing myself in there. That event was a big one for me
Good.
because Daniel was like, "Would you?" Absolutely.
Shout out to Daniel,
I was
my
like,
guy.
kids, community. I'm doing the next one
All day long. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it taught me a lot that day, of just me getting out of my
Comfort zone.
yeah.
Good.
A lot of people think that I am overly confident in social spaces, but it's actually the opposite for me.
Wow.
If I'm at an event, you most probably didn't even know I was even there
Wow.
because I was in the corner and I crept out and didn't say bye to anybody.
Wow.
I get really,
Overwhelmed.
I think because I'm sensitive, if I'm in a room, I take in so many energy sources, like good and bad,
Right.
even if you're not even speaking to me, like I can feel all this energy
Got it.
and I get really tired.
Wow.
And that's why I don't go out.
Okay.
But it's just, it's learning. I'm learning how to kind of navigate that.
Bits and pieces.
Yeah. And come out for things like this.
Yes. Well, we appreciate you.
With you guys.
We appreciate you. We appreciate your time.
I appreciate
Thank you very much,
guys.
Charlise.
Femi and Femi.
Yes. We try to keep it very simple. Femi, Emmy.
You're just trying to live on forever. That's
I'm
it.
trying to do what I can
You
out
couldn't
here.
even give your son his own name.
Trying to do what I can. Yeah, but we, again, Charlise, we appreciate you. We appreciate your time.
You're most welcome.
Restaurant, we're going to be there. The book pre-orders.
Yeah, we're going to do
definitely-
this in the restaurant. We're going to set up and bring it over there.
We're definitely doing that.
That'd be amazing.
If you guys are looking to sell or buy, 917-337-3727.
516-662-6824.
You follow me on all socials, Femi the Agent.
Femi the Realtor.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day and stay safe.
Beautiful. Thank you.